Greeting, traveler.
No time for games.
The end is coming! Who am I?
Change your mind.
You require my assistance? We're gonna be rich.
No time for games.
Inferno! Require my assistance? Who am I?
Let me change your mind.
Greeting, traveler.
No time for games.
Good evening. morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. Yes, you get to start making your hump day jokes, and yes, we are one day closer to the weekend. An ever so lovely weekend I hope we have coming up. I really do. But more importantly, it is time for Tavern Talk, the show where we like to make hot takes and bad takes alike, sometimes within the same sentence, and where we cover all of the exciting matches to come in Hero, Pro, and Legacy series for THL. I'm, of course, one of your co-hosts, J.R. Juggerlaw, and I have tonight a fantastic crew with me. The usual crew, but no crew I would rather have for a situation like this, because as you all know, it is playoffs time. This is going to be week 1 of playoffs, so the first round is going to be taking place. We're going to be covering every match that is going to be taking place this week, since it's only a little bit more work for us. But you know, I of course can't talk about this without getting into my co-hosts. First off, we've got the master of OPs, the man, the myth, the legend, the beloved the beloved guy who is not a doctor but is definitely part Fish. Say hello to Dr. Fish.
Hello everybody. I'm very excited to be here. Playoffs is my favorite part of the season. I mean, obviously you love playing all your matches, but playoffs is where it's at. And you know, we got some great matchups to cover tonight.
That we do. And of course, my other co-host, he took a break from us last week, but he is back with a vengeance, with I'm sure a lot of thoughts on the current season. As you all know, I've compared him to an element on the periodic table and a flower. Please say hello to Geranium Battle.
Vengeance indeed. Today we have conquest, and we eliminate our enemies. Let's eliminate a lot of these teams this week in all these playoffs.
For sure.
I did not know the side of Geranium was coming, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm definitely happy to have both of you guys with me tonight. Just to let everybody know who's watching, we are going to be talking about every single match. But in terms of the overall results of playoffs and how that all shook up, we will not be covering that in immense detail. If you do want to hear more about that, I highly recommend you check out last night's Hearth Center episode, which went into great detail about the match results from last week, as well as how the ultimate playoff standings shaped up by the end of it. We will be talking briefly about some of the results when we get to the certain matches. But again, if you want a more in-depth look at that, that will be the video to check out. And as you guys know, with our current order, we like to start things off with Hero Series. With Hero Series, we wound up with an interesting playoff format, as we mentioned. It was the top 3 teams of each conference wound up making it in, as well as the top 2 teams from the remaining 8 teams based on highest point totals. So we've got 4 excellent matches to talk about. Let's start off with the 1 seed versus the 8 seed match. That, of course, being Golden Wisps versus Apm Yang. This one is now Apm Yang did sneak in ever so closely. It was definitely quite a close one at the end. Apm Yang did end up losing their match, but because the other teams that they were going up against lost their matches as well, they were still able to just sneak in there and get that 8th seed. The 7th seed was pretty comfortably held by F2L Black. So for this match, as you guys can see, we've got some pretty exciting matches on the horizon here. While Apm Yang is 4-5 going into this matchup against the Golden Wisps, who are 9-0, I think we could end up seeing a very close match here. We've got Aquaman versus Genji, Always Lethal versus Jammies, Mick versus KSW, MPV versus Yfair, and Lupin versus Nomad Farmer. Now, I'm still thinking this out, so to my co-host, what are you guys thinking looking at this match?
Before we hop into the match, I mean, you said that F2L Black was feeling comfy.
No, that was not the case.
We can ask
Not comfy.
Oh gosh,
Okay.
I mean,
all right, that was a bit hyperbolic.
So the interesting thing for me is I played my match early in the week, so I did help my team with prep and everything. Things were still kind of developing, obviously, when I had played my match. So I think like by the end of it, we were kind of sweating, and more Robobson, as our captain, he was paying attention to kind of everything going on within the playoff race for Hero, and we got in with some help from other teams, kind of playing a little spoiler. But I definitely I'm very proud of my team for getting into playoffs this season, especially at our record.
Right.
Well, we'll talk about F12 Black in a second, but speaking of teams that made it to playoffs, of course, Apm Yang snuck on in there. There were like 5 teams in contention, and Apm Yang made it. Their prize is going up against Golden Wisps. And I mean...
Do not envy.
Yeah, no. After my team got crushed by them last week, which to be fair, it wasn't like so one-sided. I just felt really like demoralized after losing to Mick. Great guy, great player.
Yeah.
But oh god, getting swept by him on stream was not fun.
It didn't look very fun.
Well, I mean, you saw my cam, so you tell me.
Yeah, I understood your frustration on that. It's like it was a very very difficult match to kind of navigate for you, and he had just a lot of really good plays, for sure. So
but you know, the Wisps are not 9-0 for nothing. Obviously.
No, they're every single one of their players are positive in record. 2 of them are at 8-1.
Exactly.
And then you got Always Lethal, who's had 2 subs this season, and is 6-1. So this team...
Also, just a quick thing to add, though, in regards to what Geranium was saying about how close it was. Just to put this in perspective, APM Yang made it into the 8th seed with a score of 118 points. Horty on main, the team that was at the very bottom of that conference.
Did they have 117?
114.
No.
114. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we missed out on 7 points at the end there. There was also Booty Bay Yacht Club 116, Korak City 116. Yeah, there were like 4 teams that ended right behind APM Yang.
Mm-hmm.
No, APM Yang is the one that made it. Congratulations to them, and congratulations on their exit from playoffs. Unfortunately,
yeah,
I mean,
I think
probably.
I think so. Just looking at it, even though Nomad Farmer is at 211 PR, I feel like Lupin's such a good 5 seed that Lupin's just gonna keep skyrocketing in PR over time. I think that like starting at 50 PR like definitely isn't showing how good this player is. I said it on I said this in the podcast, and I'm sure that'll come out. But Justin, always Justin Time was talking to me, and he was mentioning he watched Lupin's matches versus his team versus, I believe it would have been Buckles, and he said that like Lupin plays as good as like a 2 seed or a 1 seed. Like he's just he's just a very very good player. Right. And he was not surprised to see 8-1 be Lupin's record this season. Probably would have said 9-0.
Seems like the comparison here should be to RoboCats.
Yeah.
For like RoboCats. Yeah, for sure. But so, I think that match it can be close. I think Wi-Fi versus MPV maybe can be close. I had a really close match with MPV this season. Very, very good player. My favorite match here is that 1 seed match though. Aquaman versus Genji. Like both are both players are just outstanding. Aquaman has really only played pro up until this season, where now he's played in Hero. I might be wrong about that, but I don't think I've seen his name outside of pro until now.
I think you're right about that. He definitely hasn't been in Legacy. I know that much.
No, yeah. So I think this is going to be pretty handedly a Golden Wisp win. It might just depend on obviously match order with how many matches actually get played. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see APM Yang come out and get some good points. It just depends on. It's just getting those match wins,
right, for
sure. And it looks like they scraped in with a bunch of players. They were getting points definitely to get enough points to get in, but they have 3 players with losing records, so that's kind of versus a team that doesn't have any. It's kind of feels lopsided in the records, lopsided in the PR. Jammies plays at a level that's 550. So like it's not that big of a gap between jammies and always lethal.
Exactly.
So we'll see.
I will say momentum is a little bit stronger for Golden Wisps as well. Genji 2 weeks ago was 6-1, and now is 6-3.
Right.
I accidentally switched matches.
Well, we'll see how the pendulum swings this time, but I think it's time to get into another match probably.
Yeah, I would say I think we're all pretty much in agreement. Golden Wisps have the advantage. Let me just ask this quick question: how likely do we think Golden Wisps are to win it all, considering their current position?
No, they don't.
I don't know. I want to see how that I want to see who they have to face. Essentially, I think their semifinal opponent could give them. It just depends on who they end up having to face. I do not have the brackets pulled up. I can pull it up.
No, I get that.
I think
for this one, this one they're going to play the winner of the 4 and 5 seed match.
Okay, so they'll play APM Yin or Unknown. Correct. I don't know. I think I have my eye on 2 specific teams, and one of them is the Wisps. And I'll talk about the other team when we get to that match.
All right, then we'll move on. But obviously, we all agree Golden Wisp is pretty favored here, so it's a question of whether or not that's going to come true. So
yes, I will mention we do have predictions from Diamond himself.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
they're not going. It's not going to be super long, but he has said that Golden Wisp are going to win 4-1 is his prediction. So pretty strong prediction to go along with us. And yeah, so now we can go ahead and get into our next match. So that match. Yep. Go ahead.
Next match, of course, is going to be in this case the next seed up from APM Yang, which is F2L Black, another wild card spot, versus the top team of Teal. No pros here.
Yep. The 2 seed.
Yes.
Yeah. Coming in there with 153 points, a far cry from the 177 of Golden Wisps, but hey, I mean they're solidly the 2nd seed here. No pros here has Agent Pee-wee in the 1 versus Neji Boston, Your Mum Ked in the 2 versus Rebobson, Skittles in the 3 versus Itachi. Vampire Nighthawk is a sub in for Pasca, perma sub in for Pasca in the 4 versus Dr. Fish, and Clarity in the 5 against the more recent sub over Chewbacca of Totino's Pizza.
Yeah. I don't know how this one's gonna go. I'm very excited to play versus Vampire Nighthawk, who has played everywhere from. I feel like he might have had a week at the 1 seed in Legacy at some point, but I know he's played the 2 and the 3 and the 4. So
I was gonna say,
he's been all over the place with his PR and where that puts him on teams. But I'm excited. Neji versus Agent PWE. Neji is sad because this isn't Legacy, because Neji goes 0 in Legacy, and I believe Pee-wee also did not win a match in Legacy, which is really weird. Like, this has been such a weird season for such excellent players.
He did win a match in Legacy.
He did. He won the last one?
He dropped down to 2. He dropped down to the 2 to do it, though.
That's right.
It's fine.
Whoops.
He got a win. He's won.
He got 2 wins.
2 wins?
Right?
Nice.
Yeah, he got 2 wins. He won the last and second to last week in the 2 seed.
Well, congrats to Pee-wee getting those wins. It doesn't matter what seed you get him in.
Yeah. Neji, however, subbed out when he could have gotten the opportunity, but
and then we actually in that 1 seed actually did get the win. Owl subbed in for Neji, so graciously subbed in for Neji, and proceeded to take a win for our team. That really helped us with the early struggles that our team had during the week against LeBron.
But let's talk about the current struggles here.
Yeah.
And I think there are some current struggles for the team. I mean, Reed Bobson is going up against an absolutely insane opponent in your Mubkid this season. But I mean, I think that's the big slobber knocker here. I mean, I know I see Neji versus Pee-wee in the 1, but
Rebob versus Ked is a banger.
Yeah. And then Vampire Nighthawk in the 4. Somehow Pasca made it to just barely enough PR to put Vampire Nighthawk in there. I think that is also an incredible match versus you, Dr. Fish.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, I think that Itachi versus Skittles is maybe a little bit more cut and dry, as cut and dry as it can be, to be two
Yeah.
very strong players in the three. Yeah, I think it goes a little bit slightly towards No Pros Here's way, but still extremely close.
Yeah. The thing is, like, No Pros here is obviously in a very strong position going into the playoffs. But we've also kind of seen how, they did falter a little bit towards the end, getting one tie, and their only loss being to APM Yin, funny enough. But they are still, they're still in a pretty strong position. And at the moment, they're definitely, doing pretty well for themselves. But looking at the other side of F2L Black, it's like, I feel like this team's, promise is not reflected in its record.
Yeah, the thing with our team, it's so, like, you look at our points, we got 123 points, but you look at our overall record, we went 3-5-1 on the season. My worrying trend is that the 4 and 5 seed have not won since week 5.
Mm-hmm.
I have lost 3 in a row, including a week I got subbed out. So the 4 seed has losses there, and Chewbacca was struggling after week. I think Chewbacca was struggling after week 2. Really, it's been Itachi and Rabobson just like pulling out all the wins and the points that we need. And Owl last week coming in the clutch to get us points. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we end up pulling this week out. I really want to see Totino do well in that 5C. He's a good play. He's a pretty solid player. He's not quite as used to the hero format. But I'm sure we can get him ready. And for me, I just have to I just need to play my best and see if I can get my points and turn it around after 5-0 start.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we do have. I'm sorry. I'll let Geranium.
Yeah.
give his.
Sorry. I just really want to quickly say. I mean, Totino's Pizza. Very good 5 seed. I mean, Clarity has an absolutely
Also
crazy list of opponents that he's beaten this season. That I'm sure those players don't want me to mention who they are. So let's move on.
It's just different. Yeah, well, I mean, like a pro format is so much different from the other formats, and sometimes players might be better at open deck than closed in general. And that's not an indictment on Clarity. He's good at closed, but he might even be better at open. And he's had an excellent season. I'm super excited for this match to see how it plays out. So yeah, for this one, Diamond has gone with the bold prediction to say F2L Black wins the week, but only wins 2 out of 5. So it goes 2-3, but F2L wins.
Yeah,
it's a bold move, Fish. We'll see if that works out.
It's a bold call. Yeah, it is not my personal opinion. I think that's so difficult to do. I don't know if I've seen it before. But I guess that's like if sweeps, and if everything's a sweep, but then there's 3 2s. I think that's how it works. But anyways, we have our next match, which is the 3. I believe this is 3 seed versus 7 seed, or 3 versus 6.
Yes.
So 3 seed, we have at Diamond versus make a 5 seed out of Molehill, who's the 6 seed, the final team to make it into playoffs, and.
Well, the final team of the
top. Yeah, the final team to be guaranteed a spot from their conference.
Right,
from the conference.
At Diamond finished just over APM Yin.
Yes.
In second place, getting a big win in the last week, and then make a 5 seed out of a Molehill was the lowest amount of had the lowest amount of points out of the 6 teams that qualified through being at the top of their conference. They finished 3rd place in teal.
For sure. So yeah, this match is very interesting. Defending champions versus Diamond Squad, and we already see that Diamond Squad has a lead in the match where Turtle has taken a 3-1 win over 9 Eyebrows. So it's not quite looking as good for the former champs. But but it's not over, and there's a lot of great matches to be played left. Man, Diamond versus Skirt is such a good match, honestly.
Yep.
It was also pretty crazy seeing Turtle play 9. Turtle streams a lot of his matches on his own stream, emote
channel,
only. Yeah. Emote only, and it was a pretty crazy match seeing Burn Shaman take a win over Control Warrior, which is
that's a very unfavored.
Yeah,
I actually don't think it's as unfavored as people think. Personally,
it's very unfavored. It's
yeah, armor is killer against Burn Shaman. I mean, it just depends on when you get the armor, right?
Well, right. There are ways to play around to some extent. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So if the rest of these matches are as crazy as that, then this is going to be an insane week. And well, I think at Diamond barely clinches it, but barely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly very hard to root against Diamond or his teams. Diamond is on an absolute tear this season. He and Rabobson are both competing right now for the top crossover player.
Yeah, they still can technically. That can still be swung if one of the players ends up playing Wild again in the next 2 weeks. But as of right now, I don't know how it stands, and we'll see.
It's extremely close. That much I do remember.
Yeah,
but either way, at the moment, this is definitely a. I think like it is fairly close. But at the same time, I definitely will give the edge to at Diamond just because I think Turtle getting a big win, while not the most surprising. Nine Eyebrows is very strong, but I feel like Turtle, when it comes to hero, that just seems to be his format. He seems to always be very, very dominant in Hero Series.
Yeah.
And, with the other matches that are left, I think Wild 9 is going to be pretty favored into CMAC. And despite the record differences, I do think, Justin is 4-3.
Yeah, Justin's 4-3.
I mean, I think Justin's overall he's playing pretty well. I think he's got a good shot at being Super Chicken, even if I don't think that's going to be an easy win by any stretch of the imagination. I do think You Kitten Me obviously has the edge over Super Buckles, but again, I think like at Diamond is, I think the fact that they're 7-2 just kind of shows that they've overall been very consistent in getting their wins when they needed to, despite always having somebody up until last week at least that was consistently losing. Like, again, no disrespect to Super Buckles, but I also think when a team is able to consistently get wins despite that factor wing against them, it really shows how much the rest of the team is pulling their weight.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder who Diamond thinks will win. That's a big question.
So, I have no idea. I could not guess it for the life of me.
Who could it be?
So obviously Diamond picked his own team.
What?
I am shocked.
But he has picked them in a 3-2. So he's giving giving a lot of respect, and rightfully so, to this team they're going against. Now I looked at playoffs, I looked at the teams, and I think the Diamonds team is the most dangerous team. Is the most dangerous team besides Wisps. Like, I know they're not the two. I know MPH is the 2 seed, and I have full respect for them. But with how good these players are, they can, they essentially have 3 1 seeds. Diamonds as good as, I'd say Diamonds 2 seed levels of play. And as Buckles is learning, Buckles is excellent to be. Obviously, he's playing it down in the 5, so he's getting a lot of good experience early on. And there are some very good 5 seeds, obviously, but he's not getting thrown to the wolves essentially, as much as having to start in a 3 or a 4 seed scenario. I think Diamond's team takes this one, but barely. I mean, these matchups are really, really, really good.
Well, I think there's one more match, right?
There is.
Yep.
Okay. That one more match is going to be the final 2 teams in playoffs: APM Yin and the Unknown. Those being the second place teams actually from both conferences.
Yeah.
Correct.
APM Yin has J Rich versus Unknown's Molestar, who sort of subbing in and out throughout the season. Venus Pomoni is versus Chewy. Some Guys versus Magnificent. Trito 2 is versus Thalfix. And finally, Snipe Hunter 8-1 versus Jim Philos. Jimmy sweeps.
Yeah.
Snipe Hunter's insane. That's my best take from
Yeah, so Snipe
our team,
Hunters,
honestly.
no, Snipe Hunter's only loss, I believe, is a DQ in Hero. I think that's his only loss this season, as far as I've been told by Bone Masher. I've had a lot of conversations about how good Snipe Hunter is. They're top play. He's their lowest yard player at 312.
You remember what we said about Lupin and how Justin said Lupin is playing like a 1 or 2 seed?
Yeah, well, Snipe Hunter is too.
So yeah,
Basically.
Lupin's only loss is a 0-3
to Snipe Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Snipe Hunter
Sounds
took
about right.
Yeah, so Snipe Hunter getting the win there last week. That was not shocking.
stuff.
I think that I would have expected a 3-2 between them because they're both very good players, but sometimes Hero Series is funky like that.
But not to be outdone, the rest of these players
so good.
Yeah, I mean J-Rich had 3 losses at the start of the season. Now he's 5-4.
Yeah.
It just shows you just how well he's been doing recently.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last week was his first loss after 5 straight weeks of winning, so
yeah,
definitely still have faith in him. And I mean, he played the best he could, but God, he was throwing some unfortunate RNG against Aquaman. So
yeah.
Oh boy, I think this is going to be a big week for him and the rest of us to bounce back after a pretty solid 5-2 start, and then kind of faltering a bit with the last 2 weeks. So yeah.
No, one of the weeks being a tie, which still solid, but not a win.
Right. Well, right. It was like I was annoyed, especially because that tie wouldn't have been a tie if I just got one game against Itachi.
Yeah.
And I sadly could not pull that off. So.
Well, I mean, whichever team wins this is going to be facing the winner of Golden Wisp versus APM Yang. So we could actually see Yin versus Yang
we could.
next round.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that being said, I'm going to predict the Unknown to win this and face the Golden Wisps next round. But I do think it will be close.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed right now.
Man, your 2 lower seeds are so good. Like I think like Thalfix is just as good as Trito, so that is a close match. Snipe Hunter, I think Snipe Hunter should win against Jim Philos. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. But I know that Jim Philos is very, very good. It's like
I don't know. I think Jim Philos unlocks at 0-2. He goes 0-2.
Yeah, he can definitely. Yeah, he can come back. Like that's essentially what gave Zelfs their title, was Jim Philos reverse sweeping from 0-2 to finish off the series and take the title for that team. Other matches, man. This is despite the point difference isn't even that large. Just it's very close. I think Yin wins. I think APM Yin takes this week. I think the bottom 2 seeds get the wins, and one of the top 3 get a win in there. And I think APM Yin moves on. I think APM Yin's dangerous just because of how good their bottom seeds are. If you have that good of a 4-5 combo, generally maybe the 4. Like I think the 4 seed is a bit debatable at times. Because there's also very good 4 seeds to go with Trito, but I think Snipe Hunter being I as someone who is a 5 seed and has played pretty much majority of the 5 seeds in purple, and some from teal, except for the 3 weeks I played in the 4 this season. I think Snipe Hunter's insane, and I didn't have to face him because I I actually subbed out that week, but I would have been playing Trito anyways. But yeah, I think Ian gets there.
All I can say is I gotten swept the last 2 weeks, and I am desperately looking to redeem myself
due.
this week. But at the same time, for the sake of karma, I'm going to go with the quasi-pro and say everybody but myself.
Nice.
So either I surprise myself and I win, or prediction comes true. Either way, I think it's a win-win.
Either way, it should be an exciting week. And what does Diamond think about it, though?
So Diamond,
since we're on opposite sides of the fence here,
I already know what he said.
Diamond has said Unknown would win 4-1.
Ooh.
All I can say to that is I'll say what I said to Geranium. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Well, you'll have to prove it. You have to prove us wrong.
I'm making sure at least one of my teams makes it past playoffs this week, preferably both, because that would be wonderful.
Well, either way, we got to keep the pace up, I think, on this.
Yes.
So now we will move on to Pro Series.
Yes, and actually, speaking of pro and no pros here, that's what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
Barely sneaking in at the bottom of the pink conference.
That they did.
They get to face the top black team, Clowns Reloaded. Absolute slobberknocker here. Pascoa versus Agent Peewee in the 1. Nails versus Your Mum Kid in the 2. Kalos Luna versus X Kume in the 3. Neji versus QAZ Kraz in the 4, and then Bank Yugi versus J Rich. Really don't expect you to see either of them in the 5, but they're both there somehow.
Yeah.
This was. It should also be noted that No Pros here made it barely made it in. They were 1 point ahead of Make Love Not Warcraft.
Yes.
And only 2 points ahead of Swagboy. So, and then EUNA was right behind them with 112. It was a very contested battle for that last spot in Pink Conference.
And last time they squeaked in, they actually made it to finals. And this was the finals.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is.
Oh my God, that's right.
There's a slight difference in the Clowns team. There is one difference in NPH.
Correct.
They had Lil Nanko last season instead of J Rich, and
J-Rich,
Clowns Reloaded had German Shep and Super Chicken, and now they have Kalis Luna and Bank Yugi. I mean, you go from two of THL's strongest players to two grandmasters. That was a good catch by Neji. Kalis Luna returning to the roster, who had played on 2 previous iterations of Clowns.
In fairness, we will be talking about German Shep.
Yeah, we will be talking about them soon. Yeah.
So
yeah,
poetic in a way. But yes, so Clowns Reloaded, as we've talked about, they've always been this incredibly strong team, incredibly stacked rosters, and I think one of the most impressive things about it is that even the players who aren't GMs on these teams are still players to be feared. So
yeah.
I mean, you look at the roster, I think that kind of speaks for itself.
I'm pretty sure that this entire team made the last MT. So.
Yes, because Neji, Boston, and Nails did, right?
Yeah, Neji made it, and Nails made it as well.
Because I know for a fact that the other 3 did.
Yep, the other 3 get invites. They all get invites to it. I don't know if Pasquale. I don't know if Pasquale actually played, but I know they all get invites.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know Pasquale is like less involved in it, but still obviously a GM, still obviously an insane player.
You're right,
but
right.
No Pros here has an uphill battle, but they have sort of the legacy behind them to make it further, and we'll see. Black Stack or Pink Sting.
Yeah, I mean, my bias will. I think Clowns are going to be tough to get through, at least this week for MPH. But they've upset teams before, so we'll have to keep a close eye on this match for sure.
Yeah. I always find it hard to make certain predictions with Pro just because, even when the records kind of make the matches seem a bit lopsided, it always seems like it can go either way. Like the whole having to prepare your lineup ahead of time can always mean a lot of things can happen. We don't like a lot of things seem to be more easier to kind of analyze once the decks and class are submitted, which obviously at this point have only been revealed for the 5 seeds. So I'm just gonna say Pascoa takes in the 1, Nails takes in the 2. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna say it's a 5-0 Clowns Reloaded. I can't. I'm just.
Ooh.
It's. I don't know how I can bet against them. Like No Pros is still a really strong team, and a 5-3 record is nothing to snuff at. But Clowns, just Clowns.
I think it'll be 3-2.
Yeah, I think
That's
it'll be
fair.
close. I think Ked and Agent can definitely have good matches against Pasqua and
Oh, for sure.
Nails. I think the other 3 matches are a bit lopsided for Clowns. Like from what I know about these players, I know that some of these people played last season in the finals. I believe Neji actually played Neji played XQME in the finals. But anyways, I didn't know how you wanted to go with the matches. So just tell me whatever match you guys want to go over next, and I'll throw it up on screen.
Oh, so I was just going in order of when they were listed in the
Sure.
doc, but
Right.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if you want to go by doc, we can. That's fine.
I was gonna say that's just fine.
And before we jump into the next one down the list, we do actually have a prediction from Diamond as well.
We do.
Did
Yeah.
we get a prediction from you, Fish, though? Actually, I didn't.
Yeah, I said the Clowns are gonna win. I don't
yes,
know.
yes,
I don't have a predict. I'm trying to. I just want to kind of just give it as fast as possible. I don't know what the score is gonna be. I'll say 4-1.
Okay, well,
Agent.
hey, that's-
I think if the most likely win for them is probably Agent PWE.
Diamond also said 4-1.
Diamond said 4-1 for Clowns. Yeah.
I actually think J Rich over Bank Yugi isn't that.
Oh,
far
that's
out there.
that's not unheard of either. Yeah.
He's really good. Really good.
But yeah, next matchup though.
Sure. We look at the doc to make sure I got it. All right, yeah. So we're gonna go to Everyone's a Winner versus Brushy Tuna. I did not look at brackets, so this is all gonna be weird for order. But yeah, we have Everyone's a Winner versus Brushy Tuna. Brushy Tuna being the 3-seeded team. Wait, no, the 2nd-seeded team out of Pink versus the 3-seeded team out of Pink out of Black Conference, and Everyone's a Winner. Very, very interesting set of matches that we have here. I think the run's been I honestly think the run's been nice for Everyone's a Winner. Jess and Memnarch have had outstanding seasons. Solo Jazz at 5-3, no season to slouch at. I think Brushy Tuna will take this one. I believe they're on the same side of the bracket as Clowns, so that's going to be a very interesting semi-final.
No. Well, Clowns
Clowns are in the top
seed.
left.
Clowns, because they're the 1 seed, they would face then after this the
Yeah, I think the winner of this
the
match.
3-4. Oh, yeah, never mind. I'm dumb.
I think so.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually think that if there was ever a week that Jess and Memnarch would lose their almost undefeated records, I thought it would be last week. So I think they're going to continue. I actually think Everyone's a Winner takes it close though. Takes it in a close 3-2. You know, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think banter. Maybe the fact that GM lineups are out kind of can hurt McBannerface, because Memnarch can see what McBannerface has brought to there. But I don't.
Right.
I don't know how many times I don't think these GM players typically bring the same lineups to both. I haven't really kept track of that myself. So if anybody has,
It's never a guarantee. I could
So,
safely
like-
say that sometimes they do it, but it depends. It really depends. on
so
certain factors.
I'm more in. I think that McBannerface should be like. I would think McBannerface would win. Jess versus Lotus. I mean that is kind of a toss up. Because Jess has been playing well. Lotus
Right.
also have an outstanding pro season. Solo Jazz versus Ron Mexico. Oh man, the battle of former teammates.
Yep.
Oh, that's a great match.
Battle
versus
of former players of the unknown.
Yeah, they used to play on the Unknown Pro team, which
Yep.
was like Ron, Brushy, Solo Jazz, a couple other people over time.
Well, don't forget the captain.
Well, Ducharmo captained it. So
yeah.
it's kind of this is a cool match.
Yes, it is.
I will favor. I think Brushy Tuna is pretty dangerous. The only loss they took was last week to For the Boys this season.
Yeah. Either way, they're on a tear.
Yeah.
Well, they were on a tear, and then they just took a huge loss last week. So
Oh yeah.
this is,
For the
well,
Boys
yeah.
showing.
momentum.
For the Boys
like-
is showing out. Yeah.
Like that doesn't undo all the success they've had this
Yeah.
season, though.
For sure.
I think actually it was pretty similar to their previous season. I mean, I know that they had a roster change, but they had a really great start of season. Then they had sort of a rocky end, and then they got knocked out of playoffs. So I don't know,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to really show their team morale and their mental fortitude to not get
Sure.
Same
Right.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure though they definitely had more losses last season though. But
Yeah, I think they had a few more losses. I mean, they were that their conference was very strong last season.
yeah.
Same thing here.
Oh, same thing here.
Yeah, I was gonna say they
like
just get better.
they had clown. They were in the same thing with clowns, and a bunch and MPH in that conference. That whole black conference that swept out in the first round of the playoffs. So Brushy Tuna did make the second round. They did. I think they lost. They lost in semifinals.
No, they Oh wait. Oh yeah, sorry. They were a black conference team. Yes, they did in fact make it to second round.
They made it to second round and they lost to the clowns, or they lost to the clowns and then other matches around it. But yeah, we have two more matches. We have two more matches to cover here. So let's talk about For the Boys versus Taggers. This match, for this match, Diamond said 4-1 Brushy Tuna. So
Yeah.
Diamond very much favoring Brushy Tuna.
I mean, it's kind of easy to see just because of like the, when you're looking at the
Sure.
roster and how a bunch of seasoned veterans that are basically all one.
Mhm.
I don't blame Diamond for making that prediction. I'm pretty much in agreement with him if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm. And so we go to this match, Taggers versus For the Boys, and this is the surprise team.
Mhm.
Considering playoffs is Taggers, who was, I believe, 12 points or 11 points behind APM. And
No,
proceeded.
it was more than that.
They needed exactly like 11 or so more points above APM to win the week. It might have been
hmm
it. They won by they 20-8. They got 20
Yep.
points, 5-0. And they were able
Oh no, you're right. It was 15. It was 12 points. Yep.
So-
sorry.
which is crazy considering that if APM had gotten one extra point, if they had lost 20-9, they would have got in by 1 point.
Mm-hmm. And we were talking about that match last week.
It's
like we were saying.
it's so crazy. You can't write stories like this. A team, the same captain, a couple of different players from last season, but the APM Pro team last season also just essentially needed a match win, and they lost 5-0 to Undivided, and got knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
And so congratulations to Taggers. Matchups here: Battle Tagger versus Super Chicken, Seth versus Dabs, Rice Bowl versus German Shep, Otters versus Jake Weiss, and Lasagna versus Dardar Binks. Man, the Cinderella story coming in has to go up against the 1C from Pink Conference, the only team to defeat Brushy Tuna. The believe they're. I believe. I don't remember who they tied, but team that just. I mean, I love this team. This team's fantastic. I root for these I root for players on both of these teams. I think For the Boys is going to take this one. It'll be
For the Boys tied against Popeye's Spicy Chicken
Popeyes.
Sandwich.
There you go. Wow, yeah, that's another great team.
Mhm.
That we're going to talk about. For the Boys, man. I mean, I think they take it. It's weird to see Dardar at 3-5 on the season. He won last week, it looks like. So I mean, stepping it I think that this team knows how to win, and I know taggers. Some of these players have made playoffs, in other series. Some have been in finals. Some are champions from other series. So it's time to they can definitely prove it. I mean, I think every one of these players, For the Boys besides Jake Weiss has a championship in THL. So. Or multiple championships in THL, so it'll be a really nice. It'll be a good match, but I think For the Boys takes it.
Yeah, I think these boys better tread lightly. I think it's not so cut and dry. I mean, I know Darter
No, it's not.
was
It's not
1-5.
It's not cut and dry now.
Darter was 1-5 2 weeks ago, is now 3-5. So I mean, he's on a tear. They just absolutely had a crazy week against Brushy Tuna. But Tigers also had an absolutely insane week against another team that I would say is not exactly the same power level as For the Boys. I mean, I missed playoffs. I would say that Tigers has just shown that they can have some absolutely huge upsets as far as we're concerned. And I think they're due for some more upsets. I think that my prediction is it's not a 5-0 either way. Of course, my hot take is that actually the sort of 5-0 is coming from Black Conference taking out all of Pink one more time here. I think this is the hardest one to call in that direction, but I do think Tigers is going to close take out For the Boys.
That's gonna be interesting for sure.
Yeah. Diamond's prediction, unsurprisingly, is a 5-0 sweep for his team For the Boys.
Snap.
So that's of all the predictions, from all the predictions from Diamond that we're gonna have, I think that's I kind of expected that one the most. But yeah, I'm super excited for this one. We have one more match cover, and that is F2L versus Popeye Spicy Chicken Sandwich. So we have the second place team from Black versus the third place team from Pink. We already have a 4-0 lead because Marty B sweeps Lambie series. So super solid win for F2L, who's coming off of the bye week. Didn't have to play during this first week, and just kind of had time to experiment on their own. And obviously, a few of these players play. A few of these particular players in Rebob and Itachi did play last week in other series, but the other three didn't play any standard series, so they got to sit back and kind of figure out what decks are solid and what decks they want to bring this week, with a little bit more prep time. I'm very curious to see how this goes. I don't generally pull this because I like to be fair with F2L in this match. The records are very close. I think with the 4-0 start, I think F2L locks this one in and moves to the next round.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a big advantage.
It's such a big advantage in a playoff scenario.
Come off of the bye week, going into playoffs. Because if you had enough points to make it into playoffs off the bye week, your opponents have no clue. Your opponents have no clue what you're necessarily going to bring. I mean, it's like everything's lining up. It's a bye week right after like a huge meta change, and going into playoffs. It's F2L City. I think. I think it will end up being much closer than it looks right now.
You get to shill.
I get to shill for F2L again.
Oh my god, Fish.
You're
There's silly.
Yep, I am very silly, but
But we love you for it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that the two main wins for Popeyes are going to be Mr. Beluga 11 and the 5. I'm the biggest Mr. Beluga fan of all time, and probably Justin in the 1, and that's maybe going to be it.
Yeah, those are good matches.
Yeah,
for sure. I just think in a playoff scenario, if this was a regular week where every match had to be played, then 4-0 doesn't always mean a lot. But in playoffs, where if F2L, say QSNS wins and then Berserk wins, like those two matches that we said are very close for Popeyes might not even happen, depending on the scores. It happens It's happened before where like the best matches that you think the other team can win don't get played until later in the week. It's sometimes just how things go. But I would hope that this match goes. I would hope that these players get to have a very exciting series. So yeah, we have one more series left to go. But first, let us take a commercial break to get a few words in about THL.
Yes, of course, and thank you so much for tuning in to Tavern Talk. If you were enjoying our show, make sure you check out Around the Saloon and the Maniacal Tournament series on Mondays, and Ronnie Tuesday, who's definitely not on Hearth Center all the time, and instead check out Sister Super Chicken on Hearth Center, and someday you'll never guess. Perhaps you're looking out for the Missing 4 series or looking to the Wild Wild West with Wild and Out. Are you still asking, where's my content? Or we stream THL matches each night from Thursdays to Sundays starting at 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. All of you match schedules may determine by caster and player availability. Side effects may include knowledge and fun. But wait, that's not all. We also have incredible matches on weekend afternoons on Schoolstone. Precise times and days are subject to availability. Speaking of which, please consider subscribing to our Twitch channel. This subscription enables the THL team to cover the various costs of our operating website and improve the quality of our streams and content to our viewers. And I see someone asking in our chat, what is Twitch Prime? I didn't even prep this time. I was really, really hoping someone would do this. Okay, definitely what I said. Twitch Prime is something you can check out right below the stream. It's a little purple button right down there. You just click it, scrolls right down, and you can check if you have a Twitch Prime available. See if you have a free sub with Prime Gaming, and you can send that right our way. And you can sub the channel for free and get us access to some glorious emotes, some little rigged emotes, so you can talk about all the different matches here coming up. So hit that heart button and keep the notifications on to make sure you catch our team streams live. We appreciate each and every one of you. Special note to our viewers, check out THL's other social media points of interest. The website is at teamhearthleague.com. Follow us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us in the Discord at Team Hearth League. And the THL PW podcast is everywhere podcasts are sold.
Well, thank you very much for that information. And so let's move into our final series. We have Legacy Series. We have round 1 of Legacies. All the other playoffs, we're technically in their quarters, but because of the format of Legacy, we have a wild card round to start, and then we will have quarters next week. So first match on the docket, we have Pod People versus Chaos Theory. The curse is broken. Chaos Theory is in playoffs. And look, they have a 4-0 lead on Pod People. Chewy with a sweep over Dragon Rider. I'd say that's a surprising result. Dragon Rider has been struggling, but has been getting points. Pod People scoring 150 points this season. The best team, the team with the most points to not get the bye. So that they came very close. They were 3 points away from the bye week, and actually 4 points away from actually winning, from actually being the bye team at a gold conference itself.
It was close.
But yeah, we have some good matchups left. Ridiculous Hat versus Lawful Dog, Starlax versus Isocles, Wicked Good versus Risen, and Swaybay versus Kodamora. Man, it's so hard. It feels difficult to overcome a 4-0. We saw that with the F2L match. But I have faith in this Pod People squad to claw back. I think... Oh, man. It's so tough to call. Because, like, the other players on Pod People have Like, I know they're capable of picking the slack up. I mean, and it's the same thing. We mentioned in the last match that the last match started with a 4-0. And it looked like that other team is kind of set. So it feels contradictory for me to say that I think that there's a chance that Chaos Theory still doesn't actually pull the week out. It's unlikely, though. Gosh. Upset alert. I'll say Chaos Theory barely takes it. This 4-0 start is very... The 4-0 starts can be a bit difficult to come back from in playoffs, and I want to see Pod... Like, if Pod people prove me wrong. Like, they can do it. But I think Chaos Theory gets the points to win.
I think, so completely ignoring the match result for Chaos Theory, I think Chaos Theory has really changed. Maybe people are saying the curse has been broken, they made playoffs, the seal is off. Mm-hmm. I think the big change is just their match records, because in previous seasons, we always see a lot of the team doing not so great, and then one player on the team basically gets MVP over the entire season. Kodomora 2 seasons ago, Lawful Dog last season. Yeah. So I think the big change is that everyone's going just about even, and everyone's really committing and really putting forward points to the team. I think that's what's going to get them further into playoffs.
I agree 100%. And I say, and this player started off in a really rough spot this season, and I'm so happy to see him claw back. Risen in the 4. I'm pretty sure Risen was like 0-4 or something this season, just struggling hard. And now he's 4, and now he's 4-5. So Risen doing better. Chewy, I don't know. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I haven't been keeping track of everybody. So if Chewy's didn't done the same thing, then that's another great sign. And Isaac-Lee 6-3. Back up in the 2 seed, getting closer and closer to the seat where he really should be playing. Like he's a 1 seed player who has been cheating in the 3, and now is in the 2 seed. Again, because I know in previous iterations of Chaos Theory he actually was in the 2. So yeah, it's crazy that I thought that Pod people would. I still think it's possible for Pod people to come back, but I think Chaos Theory with this first win can take it to the next round.
Come on, Starlax, bring Isaac-Lee's back down to the 3 where he belongs.
Wow, I mean, that can't happen. I don't think.
I think barely. PR won't let it happen.
Yeah, PR won't let it happen.
Well.
And it's hard because there's a lot of players on Pop people that I would have a hard time rooting against. I just think the points. Exactly. I think the points are gonna pull in the favor of Chaos Theory. I think Risen. I think it's been a bit of opposite trajectory in the 4, where Risen's been doing well, and I think Wicked Good's kind of struggled late back half of the season.
I mean, story of me this season. I have no problem rooting against Pod people.
Wow.
I think that
judging by me on the podcast.
I think this is gonna be a close match.
I mean, I'll say this: I have every reason to want to root against Pod people purely because they were our first match of the season, and we got 5-0. Yes, Fish. Yes, they did.
I know,
but I love this. But at the same time, I love this team to pieces. I do want to see them do well. But I'm at this point, I'm not going to be. I'm going to be happy with whoever wins, but I'm going to be sad with whoever loses. That's really where I'm at.
That's really. I think that's a good way to put it.
And even though I do agree that Chaos Theory getting that 3-0 to start is important, I'm also very much of the opinion that, considering that Dragon Rider was the only player on their team not without a positive record going into this week, I would not be surprised if Pod people just bring it back in response.
100%.
So.
That's why this was so hard for me to call.
I'm not making a call. That's why.
Yeah, for sure. All right. The Pod people prove us wrong, for sure.
Diamond did make a prediction though.
Diamond has predicted. Yes, that's true. I need to look at Diamond's prediction. He has picked. So I will say, the last match of Pro, he picked 3-2 for Popeyes. And for this match, he has picked 4-1 for Pod People, which means he thinks that Pod People are going to win out the rest of the matches after taking this loss.
Bold prediction there.
So
Yeah.
so Diamond with full belief in Pod People.
I wonder if he would have predicted 5-0 before this match came up. And I wonder if he's going to predict 3-2 after the next match comes up.
I will just say this: I do find it interesting that Pod People took a season off and came back with a vengeance.
Yeah, it's only one player difference in the roster, and that other person actually did sub in for 1 week this season, or 1 or 2 weeks.
That's also true.
For 1 week, yeah, 1 week
came in. Yep.
For 1 week against for Starlax.
Yep.
So we have our next match, and oh boy, this is deja vu. I mean, we covered this match 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Zilfs versus Hearthstone Academy meet in the playoffs. HSA gets in. They I was talking to Cherub and he's like, somehow these guys dragged me to playoffs. But he held his own, 4-5, no slouch for sure. Matchups: Coles versus Hockey Boys, Vino versus Ron Mexico, Donde versus the Big Ted, Chronic versus Chewbacca, and Jim Flows versus Charup. I want to say that Charup played Chronic last time and Chewbacca played Jim Flows, because I think their PRs, I think they swapped in seeds either after that week or after the last week. So
what? These guys are cannibals. Why are they hurting their own people? Donde versus Big Ted.
Donde versus
Vino
Ted.
versus Ron.
I know. It's crazy. These guys are like these players all kind of intermingle on other teams. Donde and Ted being teammates on those two being teammates on Korak City with Ron. Yeah, I think, man, I think with I think Chronic versus Shu is probably going to be the most important match in this entire. It's going to be the most important match in this set. Like, the points are close, and if I had to guess, it's so tough.
I actually think Jim Flows versus Chirip might be more important than.
I think that they're both. I think that the bottom.
Chronic. They're both insanely important.
Yeah, it's tough. I think Coles has the advantage. I think Ron versus Vino is very close. Donde versus Ted. The last time they played, it was a pretty close match, but Donde got the win, and I know, and they're playing on stream again.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a very close 3-2.
So I think I'm gonna give it to Donde again. I think Cole's in the 1, Donde in the 3, and then if one of the bottom two win it, I think it'll go to Zilfs. Otherwise, I think I'm gonna favor the Zilfs, but I'm not gonna be surprised at whoever wins this one.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be. This one feels like a super close match. Like they're not that many points apart. I think they're ended 9 points apart, and that's off the heels of a Zilfs 5-0 from last week. So that could realistically be the reason that they can be favored, is that they won in a full sweep last week to actually get the 2 seed.
Yeah, Zilfs have momentum on their side, really.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
The funny thing was they didn't even need many points to lock in their playoffs.
No, they challenged, and they were like 3.
Boy.
Another thing, they were like 3 points off of making the bye week.
Yes,
So
they were
close.
3 points behind APM.
Yeah, so all points. So the 4 bye teams are Clownstone Academy from Gold, Just Win being the top red team, APM being the top gold team, and F2L White being the the team with the most points that did not win their conference. So, yeah, really good match here. Geranium, I don't believe Geranium gave his predictions. I will let Geranium talk before we go into our next match.
I was trying to find when they faced off.
Okay. It was pretty. It had to be a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah. There it is. So HSA actually took it. It was actually pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up being a 3-2. Hockey winning, Ron Mexico winning, and Shu winning over Jim Flows.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of it was like so many 3-2s. So, which makes sense. You guys know that I hate to do it. You you know I hate
You
to say
know,
this, but
you think yourselves are
I
winning.
think that duh. I think the winner in
Oh.
duh. I Cole's team wins. I think
I'm
that's
cherishing this moment in my life.
I think I think that Hot Zolfs with Coles in it in playoffs is a different beast.
Yeah,
And I think they're gonna make it to the next round.
gotcha. I don't know if JR. I don't think JR gave an actual prediction either.
Because I'm so torn.
Yeah, this is such a tear. It's a match that tears me up too.
I'm honestly gonna do what I did with Pop People versus
The last match.
Chaos Theory and plead the fifth on this one because
Alright.
I'm literally like I want both these teams to win and only one can win. So it's like,
So
what am I supposed to do?
So I will ask you another question. Which match are you most excited for?
Ooh.
That'll be the so for those so if we wish to abstain from predicting,
we
will say what our favorite match is.
So if I had to pick so I'll be honest, while I am very excited for the rematch Donde and the Big Ted, just because of what an amazing 5-game series that was last time around, which I will say something that I've said to people in THL. That match is way closer than the PR difference would indicate. However, if I have to be quite honest, the match I am most excited for is the 2-seed match, just because it's my hero teammate going up against the legendary and always awesome. And I know how much Vino wants to get this win. He is dying for it. He wants both of his teams in Hero and Legacy to win this very badly, and he's not thrilled with how he's been playing in either series. He hasn't been doing badly in either, but he definitely wishes he was playing a bit better. So I think this is where he wants to really, much like myself, he really wants to step it up this week and really get the most important wins where they're gonna mean the most.
For sure, and that's all you can do. Just do your absolute best, and sometimes the results don't go your way, but you just keep going for it. It's fantastic.
Also, that match is going to be on stream too.
It will be, yeah. That match will be on stream. Donde versus Ted will be on stream. We have, and I know we have one more match.
We also have Diamond's
I think
predictions.
we have two more.
Diamond
predicted
HSA.
Hearthstone Academy would win 3-2, just like they did in regular season.
Yes.
I thought we have two more matches. I think
we do. We have two. Sorry, there was one I missed. I forgot about. But we have our next match on the screen.
Yes.
We have the Cooler versus Miami University of Ohio Hearthstone MUOH. Matchups: Seabeak 1 versus Heat Shock. Superhero versus Samsi's Ghost. We have Bremen versus Trito 2. Icer versus Tavern M. And Mojo Powell versus Snipe Hunter.
I don't think it's supposed to be a perma sub. It looks like it's black on the
No, it's black on the screen because I pulled the screenshot from Silver Conference.
Okay.
So Heat Shock is a sub. The usual 1 seed is Nice Jewish Owl, who isn't playing this week.
AKA NJO,
Yes.
AKA Milo.
Yeah, so their captain,
AKA Mean Jewish Owl.
Their captain is subbing out this week. And it's interesting. Tavern's actually back in the lineup, it looks like. Dragon Ninja has been playing in Tavern's place for a majority of the season. And I'm wondering if that might be a bit of a drawback. Because Dragon Ninja was playing extremely well. I believe he made the power rankings list after 4 weeks of subbing because he had done so well against such difficult opponents.
Yeah.
So I mean, Tavern's an excellent player, and he is playing in the 4. So I think Tavern has been traditionally playing up in the 1, 2, and 3. But I guess it says he's 1 and 5, so he did play he did play a decent chunk of the weeks apparently.
Yeah, he was out for quite a bunch of it, but played the rest of them. Meanwhile, I think actually maybe the craziest matchup I see here. Well, wait. Hold up a second. Icer's in the 4 now?
Yeah, Icer's in the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Icer's been in the 4
Yeah.
for Icer's been in the 4 for a couple weeks now.
Tavern tried to escape Icer going down to the 4
And got
and just
Icer.
met him anyways.
Yeah.
But he had such
but
a
yeah.
good run last season that he was in the 3 seed, but he was doing really well. So it was really a bummer to see him struggle as he has.
Tavern had some weeks in the 1 where he was actually doing fine.
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted
You're fine.
here. The actual match that I think is super duper crazy is Mojo Powell versus Snipe Hunter here.
Yeah.
We recently talked about Snipe Hunter being 8-1 in Hero. Mojo Powell last season
Was 8-1 in Legacy.
Was 8-1 in Legacy. Ever so barely missed out on MVP to Neji Boston there in the final week.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we have 2 high-powered 5 seeds going at it, this is going to be very critical.
For sure.
Yeah, the thing that I said this last season, and I hope you guys remember this, but I said this: Mojo Powell has zero business being in the 5 seed. Zero.
No, he doesn't. No, I had him on a team with I captained him, and he was my 5. He was my 4. And he went 500 in the 4 seed, that season, and the next season proceeded to go back to the 5, go 8-1, second runner-up MVP of all of Legacy. But yeah, this is a crazy match. I think the cooler takes this one.
I'm a big cooler proponent.
I think the cooler's gonna take this one.
I think so too.
I think it just lines up pretty well for them.
Yeah, I think Sam wins in the 1. I think Sam wins in the 2. I'm a big fan of Sam. Sees Ghost.
Same.
I got to.
Same.
I actually got to. So I got to sub in pro last week on Sheepies, which is the team that Sam plays on, and getting to interact with him and the rest of that team was really cool. Just to kind of get my feet wet in the series in general, and so yeah, I'm a big fan of a lot of these players. I haven't had much interaction with Tavern, or Trito, but Heat Shock is someone that I regularly have as a caster on Thursday Throwdown. Very very nice person. Mojo Powell captained him, and Sam and I are close friends. But I think that the cooler just has a little bit of an advantage. CB was in the 300s in PR to start the season and is now 500. So I think he's still under PR'd. I feel like he had like the first season because he was a rookie. I think he took a lot of extra PR hit by losing, and now he's kind of slowly regaining it as he's gotten used to the format. So really, really happy for this team to do well. MU, I'm not going to be surprised either way. I think for all of these matchups, we're not going to be surprised if the other teams that we didn't predict, if they lose. I'm not going to be surprised if MUOH pulls it out. But definitely a close match.
Yeah, I think someone who might be surprised if MUOH pulls it out though is Diamond.
Yes, Diamond has said the
cooler
4-1 says Diamond.
I'm not that far off. I do want to edge and say it's 3-2, but I do think the cooler will take it.
Yeah, I'd like to see Heat Shock do well. His legacy PR is low because he hasn't played in legacy for some seasons now as a regular player. He's subbed in here and there. But when I came in, he was on Blood Bloomers. And that team, they didn't have a great season, that particular one, but the season before, that team was in finals and took second place.
Against Hearthstone Academy.
Yeah, against HSA. So
that was when they got their 5th title? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
No, 4th title.
That was the 4th title. Only a 4.
Oh god. Sorry, 4th title. They've been in playoff. They've been in the finals 5 times.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So we got one more match, and this one is near and dear to JR's heart. We have Defias versus Illidan's Death Knights.
It's objectively the best match of them all.
It's a great match. Really, these teams faced off in the regular season. Um, I I know you've talked about wanting to get your revenge back on this team. I'm guessing that I'm guessing that they won against you in regular season.
Oh no, I never wanted. Oh no. I had wanted revenge on Classy Thug.
Classy Thug.
For beating me a couple seasons ago. Great guy. No,
yeah,
we had a
Classy
very
Thug's
close
great.
5-game series,
Oh.
but I was definitely like expecting to come out on top of our match, and I'm
Mhm.
bummed out. So
Yeah.
we were saying like this is going to be like the deciding match until we inevitably play each other again.
Yeah, this is
yeah. No, we actually beat Defias the previous time. It was close. It was, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was. Damn, I'm trying to remember. I think it was. Oh yes, it was. Myself, Earl, and Jessbean won, and then Raptor and Biz lost. So it was definitely pretty close. We managed. It came down to the very last match. For Jessbean managed to take a big win over the Ruler and sealed it for us. But yeah, we're not underestimating them. I feel very confident in our ability to pull win.
Yeah.
But I'm also very painfully aware of the fact that this is a fairly different meta compared to the first time, and with all the shenanigans happening currently, who knows?
It's definitely tough. So
man, this season I feel like Defias is just a story of Neb Canuck here.
Yeah, Neb Canuck
super
winning.
huge props to Neb Canuck for like taking a storm in the 3. I know that Classy Thug was basically the big performer last season, and now to see Neb Canuck basically making it up to the 2 is crazy. I think like here's the thing is the situation that JR just outlined of Earl, JR, Jessbean. I think that's their closest avenue to
that's the closest
winning
ticket
this match.
to winning, yeah.
But either any one of those 3 could reverse, and we could see a Defias win, knocking IDK out in round 1 of playoffs again. I would hate to see that.
I personally think if one of us loses, Raptor is gonna redeem himself against Neb Canuck and get that win. But I'm also very much aware of the fact that Neb Canuck is on an absolute tear this season.
Yeah.
I'm just looking to continue my win streak right now and continue the momentum I have. This is the first time I've ever been above 500 PR, and I pulled a win literally out of my ass to beat Based last week. So I'm either hoping that I can play really well this time around or get a similar kind of lucky, just like that. So we'll see. We will see. But I definitely think my team is going to win this. I again, many props to Defias. You know, they're the returning champions from last season. And it's also worth mentioning, they're kind of the reason we made it to playoffs, because it was their win against Fish that sealed it.
Yes, that is true.
That sealed our spot.
That is very true.
We did obviously have to beat Clownstone, which was, no easy task.
That was a close one. It was a 4-point match, yeah.
Yeah, it was. We needed to win that one, but it ultimately came down to Defias beating Fish to really ensure that we got that win, because it was even though it was only a 2-point difference.
Yeah, and then also Stubbs playing spoiler to Agent P's as well.
That was also an interesting match too.
Very, very close. Very close to get it.
Sometimes close matches are what eats a team up.
Yeah, I was paying very close attention to all of those matches to see did we have a clear path or what? But ultimately, I will say this: I was happy that even though I did want us to win without having to Fish. I'm also glad that it felt like we really it felt like less of a fluke making playoffs this compared to last season, where we won under what I felt were very unlikely circumstances.
Yeah.
So this time around, I think we got a better shot, and I'm hoping to see if we can actually make it through the first round this time.
I'm gonna pick your team.
Woo!
I'm picking IDK to win this week. It's the way your team showed up against us. Was just proved a lot to me. Yes, my match was very favored for me, but I doubt that's gonna happen again. I think even if Biz loses, Biz is gonna get points. Like I got very. It was close. It was a sweep, but I still felt like there was moments in that match where I felt like, oh man, like this is like on a like I felt like on a knife's edge about some of how some of the stuff things would have played out. But I think with Jess, Raptor, and you getting wins and Earl getting a 3-2 loss only. Earl got 2 points against Lotus Knight, who subbed in for Neji Boston. Which, you know, I mean, when you're moving from Neji to Lotus, I'd say there isn't much of a skill gap between those two. So Earl pretty much had to play the same caliber of player, and you know, if that goes his way, then your team has even more points. So yeah, I think this is the upset. So we'll see. So. Yeah, I know you do, and I'm pulling for you. I'm pulling for you, Fran. I'm pulling for you in both of your matches. I'm very, very happy.
Right.
I'm very excited.
But that's exactly why I know. That's why I'm finding my team in both matches. Geranium's rooting against me in both matches, though.
Yeah. I don't want to say the words, but it's the defending champs.
I don't blame you. Don't worry.
Yeah. It's. Sorry.
You could also make the argument that you need to balance it out so that it's like 1-1. I totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not making that argument. I'm just rooting against.
You could.
So yeah.
Oh wait, you jerk.
So we have Diamond's final prediction. He says 3-2 Defias, so he's predicting a close one for Defias.
Diamond's also betting against me both times. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oops.
But
I'm not betting against Diamond this week. Come on.
All notes and caveat is that Diamond literally picked these matches on coin flips. So So there you go. There you go.
I'll say this.
For the record,
I was more shocked that he had us losing 4-1 to
I kept this all in my head because I wanted to reveal it at the end, but Diamond literally coin flipped all the winners. In his coin flip, he had NPH winning over Clowns, but he's like, nah, I can't beat him that hard. So just to pull the curtain back, I'm gonna pull us back to the main screen now. That's all the matches we have for this week. Quarterfinals, wild card round for Legacy. Let's go! It's playoff time.
And Raked Coin got Diamond's team both times that he had to break.
Oh, I don't know if that was coin flipped. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm willing to bet it wasn't.
I think that everything else was. So we'll have to settle for those predictions. Some banger matches, and keep your eyes out for matches coming up throughout the week. And I will say tomorrow night we are still open for 3 matches. Please, if you are playing tomorrow night and you want to play your match on stream, please message me in the stream match request, tag me, or any of the other people, and they'll direct you to me. You can message me directly on Discord so I can get it all set up and ready. But really would hate to miss out on some great matches on Thursday. We do have a pretty nice slate on Friday night fights. That's going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern with Pro Series, Memnarch versus McBannerface, followed by another Pro Series match, Nails versus your Mumked. And at 10 p.m., Legacy Series match, Wild 9 versus Earl. So we have... Yeah.
I'm excited for those matches. Do you happen to know why?
Well... Are you casting them?
I thought I already told you. Yes, I am.
So JR is going to be on the. So JR will be on the cast for that. That's exciting. Salty Saturday, we actually do have matches. I just did not write them down because I kind of slipped my mind, but I know, and I can't actually pull them up because I will mess up the screen.
Oh, I posted Sunday. Damn it.
No, I know there's a 7 p.m. match and a 10 p.m. 10 p.m. is Donde versus the Big Ted. 7 p.m. is another match. I believe 8 p.m. is gonna be a wild match. Actually, it's gonna be Memnarch versus
Nops.
Nops. Nice. Oh man, two of my opponents from this season, both of which beat me.
Right.
I am actually super excited.
And then Sunday's matches, we've got 3 lined up already, I believe.
Yeah, we have 3 matches. So for Saturday night, it's gonna be. I know Hyperin's joining me for the Wild match, but Hyperin might just be joining me for every match. I will be casting on Saturday night. Sunday Showdown. 3 exciting matches. We have Always Just in Time versus Super Chicken. Ron Mexico versus Vino Spumoni. That's Legacy for the first, Legacy for the second match, Hero for the first. And the final match is Hero Series CMAC versus Wild 9. So that's exciting that at Diamond versus make a 5-state out of a Molehole's final matches, and I doubt that series is going to be decided before then. So
God, I hope not. I don't want it to be.
Yeah, that would stink. So
that's always the downside with Sunday. It's like
who knows? These matches are the ones on stream. They might not be playing other matches. They might not be playing the other match until then. Anyways, 2 of the other ones. So we'll see. Schoolstone. So for Schoolstone Sunday, I believe we're looking at having Rabobson versus I forget which one of Rabobson's opponents, whether it's Hero or Pro, but we're looking at having one of Rabobson's matches on stream.
I think he was actually bouncing around both of them. And then there was an issue with having both of them one after the other. But
oh yeah. So it would be it makes sense. So that'd be Rebob versus Justin, and then Rebob, and the other match that he has is against Ked. So yeah, I mean, great matches this weekend all around. Again, I would love to have matches on Thursday night. So if you're open and available to playing, then we will take wild matches as well. So don't be afraid if you have a wild match and want to play and have it on stream. Make sure you contact me, and I'll get you on stream.
I mean, obviously the matches Sunday are crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm actually maybe more interested in some Friday night fights this week.
Yeah, Friday night fights is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, so for Friday, also one thing to keep in mind is I will be casting those matches with the one and only the Dankest Dad.
Yeah, Dankest Dad. He's been great.
And he has been awesome. I've been loving watching him cast. I'm definitely excited for that. Honestly, kind of reminds me of Rast in a lot of respects. Cool voice, very, very enjoyable caster. Like just looking forward to whenever I get the opportunity to cast. But to add to the awesomeness, our OP for that night is going to be the one and only Saku.
Yeah, so Saku ops on Fridays, Wild 9 ops on Saturdays, Saku ops on Sundays, and then obviously myself tomorrow night. So we'll have Wild and Out at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna be looking back at the last week, and we're gonna be previewing next week, or previewing this week's upcoming exciting matches. So make sure to tune in for that. That's gonna be super exciting.
Yep, exactly. Definitely. Thanks for the. It's gonna be a good one. We're definitely excited, and as you guys know, next week we're about the semifinals matches for Hero Series and Pro Series, and we'll be talking about the full quarterfinals for the for Legacy. So.
Yeah. Can't wait to have basically just as much to talk about next week.
Next week at least we have like
4 less matches. 4 less matches.
Yeah, so it's going to be 8 matches instead of 12. So that's a plus.
That's a plus for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a ton of content though, and you'll see us there next week.
Yeah, everybody. Thank you all for coming tonight. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your week, and have a. And we will see you all next Wednesday. Don't forget, Wild and Out will be on tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
For those who want to watch.
Yes.
Later, all.